chosen one. That voice inside you today is not just a whisper, it's God calling your name, urging you to step into the divine purpose He's carved out for you. This isn't a fleeting thought or a passing feeling. It's a sacred signal, a holy nudge, pulling you toward a life so radiant, so powerful, that it will shift everything you thought you knew about yourself. That voice is alive, pulsing with truth, and it's telling you right now, you are not ordinary, you are chosen. You are set apart for something extraordinary, and God is speaking directly to your soul to make sure you don't miss it. This voice isn't loud like the chaos of the world. It's not screaming like the doubts or fears that try to drown out your spirit. It's steady, unshakable, like a heartbeat that's been with you since the day you were born. Maybe you've felt it in quiet moments when you're alone, staring at the stars, or when a sudden sense of purpose washes over you. That's God. He's been planting this voice inside you, waiting for you to listen, waiting for you to trust. It's the sound of destiny calling, and today, chosen one, you're going to answer it. Why does this voice feel so urgent now? Because you're standing at a crossroads. The world around you is shifting, and God is aligning the stars for your breakthrough. This isn't about chasing dreams or forcing change. It's about recognizing that the Creator of the universe has already laid out a path for you, and that voice inside is His way of saying, now is your time. You've carried burdens, faced trials, and walked through valleys that would have broken others. But you're still here, standing tall, because that voice has been your anchor, even when you didn't realize it. Think about Moses, a man who heard God's voice in a burning bush. He wasn't ready. He stammered, doubted, felt unworthy. But that voice didn't let him go. It pushed him to lead a nation, to part seas, to step into a destiny he couldn't have imagined. You, chosen one, are no different. That voice inside you isn't just a feeling, it's a divine command. It's God telling you to rise, to move, to trust that He's already working miracles in your life. The question is, will you listen, or will you let the noise of the world drown it out? That voice is your compass, guiding you through storms others can't weather. Look at the world around you. People are lost, chasing temporary fixes, scrolling through endless distractions, trying to fill a void only God can touch. But you've got something different. That voice is your direct line to the divine, a signal that cuts through the clutter. It's telling you that your purpose isn't tied to what the world values: money, status, likes. It's tied to something eternal, something that will outlast every trend and every trial. When you tune into that voice, something shifts. Your perspective changes. You start to see the world not as a place of limits, but as a canvas for God's glory. That job you're worried about, that relationship that's weighing you down, that dream you've buried because it felt too big, the voice inside you is saying, I've got this. God is already moving pieces you can't see, opening doors you didn't know existed. Your only job is to listen and step forward in faith. Let me ask you something, chosen one. Have you ever noticed how certain moments feel like they were meant for you? A conversation that hits just right, a song that speaks to your soul, a random encounter that feels like divine timing? That's the voice working, weaving God's plan into the fabric of your life. It's not random, it's orchestrated. Every time you've felt that spark, that pull, it's been God reminding you that you're on His radar. He's been speaking all along, waiting for you to trust the sound of His voice over the chaos of the world. And here's the truth. That voice isn't just about you. It's about the ripple effect you're destined to create. When you listen to it, you don't just change your life, you change the lives of those around you. Think of Esther, a woman who heard the call to stand up for her people. She wasn't born a queen, she was ordinary, like you, until God's voice stirred her to act. And when she did, nations shifted. Your voice, your calling, has that kind of power. It's not just about your breakthrough. It's about the thousands you'll inspire when you step into your purpose. So, pause for a second. Feel that voice inside you right now. It's there, isn't it? Maybe it's a quiet urging to take a leap of faith. Maybe it's a fire telling you to let go of what's holding you back. Whatever it is, don't ignore it. This is your moment. God is speaking, and He's saying your name. If this message is stirring your soul, I invite you to hit that like button and subscribe to join thousands of chosen one souls who are walking this path with you. Let's amplify this divine energy together. That voice is also a shield. The world throws distractions at you, bills, doubts, people who don't understand your fire. But when you lean into that voice, it becomes armor. It protects you from the lies that say you're not enough. Psalm 32:7 says, "You are my hiding place. You will protect me from trouble and surround me with songs of deliverance." That voice is your hiding place, chosen one. It's God's promise that no matter what comes, you're covered. You're untouchable. The enemy can try, but he can't silence what God has spoken into you. Have you ever felt like you're fighting battles no one else sees? That's because you are. As a chosen one, you're not just living for yourself. You're carrying a light that threatens the darkness. That voice inside you is God equipping you for the fight. It's not about physical strength or worldly success. It's about the quiet power of knowing who you are in Him. When you embrace that voice, you step into a confidence that nothing can shake. People will notice. They'll see the way you carry yourself, the way you move through challenges with grace. Let's talk about that confidence for a moment. It's not arrogance. It's not about proving anything to anyone. It's about knowing that the God who created the stars is speaking to you, guiding you, choosing you. When you walk in that truth, something changes. Your steps feel lighter. Your decisions feel clearer. Even the people who doubted you start to see something different. That's the power of the voice inside you. It's not just a feeling, it's a transformation that radiates from the inside out. Think about David, a shepherd boy who heard God's voice before he ever faced Goliath. He wasn't the strongest or the most experienced, but that voice told him he was enough. And with a single stone, he took down a giant. You've got your own giants, chosen one, fear, lack, uncertainty. But that voice inside you is stronger than any obstacle. It's God saying, "I've already won this for you. All you have to do is listen and act." Now, let's get real. Listening to that voice isn't always easy. The world is loud. Your inbox is full. Your responsibilities are endless. And sometimes that voice feels like a whisper in a storm. But here's the secret. It's always there. Even when you can't hear it, it's guiding you. Every time you've made a choice that felt right, even when it didn't make sense, that was the voice. Every time you've pushed through pain and come out stronger, that was the voice. God has never stopped speaking to you, and He never will. If you're feeling that voice stirring right now, I encourage you to leave a comment with the number 777 below. It's a declaration that you're ready to listen, ready to trust, ready to step into the divine plan God has for you. That number carries the energy of spiritual alignment, a sign that you're in tune with His purpose. Don't hold back. Let the heavens know you're ready. Sometimes that voice asks you to do hard things. It might tell you to let go of a relationship that's draining you. It might push you to take a risk you've been avoiding. It might call you to forgive someone who doesn't deserve it. But every time you obey that voice, you step closer to the life God designed for you. Look at Ruth, who heard the call to leave her home and follow Naomi. It wasn't logical. It didn't make sense. But that voice led her to a legacy that changed history. Your obedience to that voice will do the same. That voice is also a promise. It's God saying, I see you. You're not invisible. Your struggles, your dreams, your quiet moments of doubt, He sees them all. And He's speaking to you right now, telling you that you're not alone. Isaiah 30:21 says, whether you turn to the right or to the left, your ears will hear a voice behind you saying, this is the way, walk in it. That's the voice inside you, chosen one. It's your guide, your comfort, your strength. Let's talk about what happens when you fully embrace that voice. Your life starts to align. Things that felt out of reach, peace, purpose, provision, start falling into place. It's not magic, it's not luck. It's God working through you, moving mountains you didn't even know were there. People will start to notice the change. They'll see a glow in you, a fire that wasn't there before. That's the voice manifesting, turning your spirit into a beacon of His light. You might be wondering, what if I've ignored that voice before? Here's the truth. God doesn't hold grudges. He's still speaking. Every moment is a fresh chance to listen. Think of Jonah, who ran from God's voice and ended up in the belly of a whale. Even then, God didn't give up on him. That voice kept calling, and Jonah eventually answered. You're not too far gone, chosen one. That voice is still there, waiting for you to turn toward it. That voice is also your weapon. The world will try to pull you away from it. Doubt will creep in. Fear will whisper lies. But when you hold fast to that voice, nothing can touch you. John 10:27 says, My sheep listen to my voice. I know them, and they follow me. You are His chosen one. That voice is your proof. It's the sound of God claiming you, guiding you, protecting you. No force in heaven or earth can silence it. Let's take a moment to honor that voice. Close your eyes, just for a second, and feel it. It's there, steady and sure. It's the part of you that refuses to give up, even when everything else says quit. It's the spark that keeps you going, even when the road is dark. That's God, speaking directly to your soul. And He's saying, You are mine, and I have plans for you that will shake the world. If this message is hitting home, if you're feeling that voice louder than ever, hit that like button and subscribe to join thousands of chosen one souls who are tuning into God's call. Your support sends this message further, reaching others who need to hear it. And if you're ready to claim this moment, comment 777 below. Let the world know you're listening. That voice inside you is also a map. It's leading you to places you've never been, but they're places you were always meant to go. Maybe it's a new career, a new city, a new way of seeing yourself. Maybe it's a calling to lead, to create, to heal. Whatever it is, that voice knows the way. Trust it, follow it. Even when the path looks uncertain, God is already there, preparing the ground beneath your feet. Look at Abraham, who heard God's voice telling him to leave everything familiar and go to a land he didn't know. He didn't have a map, he didn't have a plan, but he had that voice. And because he listened, he became the father of nations. Your voice is just as powerful, chosen one. It's leading you to a legacy that will outlive you, a purpose that will echo through generations. That voice is also your freedom. The world wants to chain you to expectations, to routines, to fears. But when you listen to that voice, you break free. You step out of the box others try to put you in. You become unstoppable, not because of your strength, but because of God's. That voice is your reminder that you were never meant to fit in. You were meant to stand out, to shine, to show the world what it looks like to walk in divine purpose. Sometimes that voice feels like a challenge. It might ask you to face truths you've avoided. It might push you to let go of habits that feel safe but keep you stuck. It might call you to stand alone when everyone else is running the other way. But every challenge that voice brings is a doorway to growth. Think of Daniel, who heard God's voice in the lion's den. He didn't run, he didn't panic. He listened, and God shut the mouths of lions. Your voice will do the same for you. That voice is also your connection to eternity. It's not just about this moment, this day, this life. It's about the forever God has written into your soul. When you listen to that voice, you tap into something bigger than yourself. You start to see the world through God's eyes, to love with His heart, to move with His strength. That's when miracles happen, not just for you, but through you. Let's talk about those miracles for a second. When you align with that voice, things start to shift in ways you can't explain. Opportunities appear, relationships heal, finances turn around. It's not because you forced it, it's because you listened. That voice is God's way of moving mountains, and when you trust it, you'll see those mountains crumble. Psalm 46:10 says, "Be still and know that I am God." That stillness is where you hear the voice clearest, and that's where the miracles begin. You might be thinking, what if I don't know how to listen? Here's the good news, you already are. Every time you've felt that pull to do better, to be better, to keep going, that's the voice. Every time you've chosen hope over despair, faith over fear, love over hate, that's the voice. You've been listening all along, chosen one. Now, it's time to trust it completely. That voice is also your identity. The world will try to tell you who you are, your job, your mistakes, your bank account. But that voice, it tells you the truth. You are chosen, you are loved, you are destined for greatness. Jeremiah 1-5 says, "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart." That's the voice speaking, reminding you that your purpose was written before you took your first breath. Let's be honest, sometimes that voice feels heavy. It carries the weight of destiny, the call to be more than you thought you could be. But that weight isn't a burden, it's a gift. It's God saying, "I trust you with this." He trusts you to carry His light, to speak His truth, to live His purpose. And when you embrace that, you'll find a strength you didn't know you had. That voice is also your victory. Every time you listen to it, you win a battle. You defeat doubt. You overcome fear. You silence the lies that say you can't do it. Think of Paul, who heard God's voice in prison and kept preaching. His chains didn't stop him because that voice was louder than his circumstances. Your circumstances don't define you, chosen one, that voice does. If you're feeling this message deep in your soul, if that voice is stirring louder than ever, leave a comment with 777 below. It's a sign to the heavens that you're ready to embrace your calling. And if you want to keep walking this path with other chosen ones, hit that like button and subscribe to join thousands of souls who are listening to God's voice together. That voice is your guide through the unknown. Life is unpredictable, plans fail, people change, but that voice, it never wavers. It's the one constant you can trust, no matter what. When everything else feels shaky, that voice is your rock. It's God saying, "I'm with you, always." Matthew 28:20 says, "I am with you always, to the very end of the age." That's the voice, chosen one, promising you'll never walk alone. Sometimes that voice will lead you to places that scare you. It might call you to speak up when you want to stay silent. It might push you to walk away from what's comfortable. But every step you take with that voice is a step toward freedom. Look at Mary, who heard God's voice and said yes to a plan that seemed impossible. She carried the Savior of the world because she trusted that voice. Your yes to that voice will carry miracles too. That voice is also your joy. When you listen to it, you find a peace that nothing else can give. The world offers temporary highs, money, fame, followers, but they fade. That voice offers something eternal. It's the joy of knowing you're exactly where you're meant to be, doing exactly what you were created to do. That's the kind of joy that changes everything. Let's talk about what happens when you ignore that voice. Doubt creeps in. Fear takes over. You start to feel stuck, like you're running in circles. But even then, God doesn't give up. That voice keeps calling, keeps whispering, keeps pulling you back. Think of Peter, who denied Jesus 3 times. That voice didn't abandon him. It called him back, and he became a cornerstone of the church. Your missteps don't disqualify you. Chosen one, that voice is still there, ready to guide you home. That voice is your power. It's not about controlling others or chasing status. It's about knowing who you are in God's eyes. When you embrace that voice, you step into a confidence that can't be shaken. People will see it. They'll wonder why you're different, why you carry a peace they can't explain. That's the voice working, shining through you, drawing others to the light. Sometimes that voice feels like a fire. It burns away what doesn't belong, old habits, toxic relationships, limiting beliefs. It's not always comfortable, but it's always good. That fire is refining you, preparing you for the greatness God has planned. Zechariah 13:9 says, "I will refine them like silver and test them like gold." That's the voice, chosen one, shaping you into something unstoppable. You might be wondering, how do I know it's God's voice and not just my thoughts? Here's how. God's voice brings peace, even in chaos. It brings clarity, even in confusion. It brings strength, even in weakness. When you hear that voice, you'll know it's Him, because it aligns with His truth. It pushes you toward love, toward purpose, toward freedom. Test it. Trust it. It's never led you wrong. That voice is also your legacy. When you listen to it, you're not just living for today. You're building something that will last. Your choices, your courage, your faith, they ripple out, touching lives you'll never meet. Think of Harriet Tubman, who heard God's voice and led hundreds to freedom. Her voice wasn't just for her, it was for generations. Your voice will do the same, chosen one. That voice is your connection to the divine. It's God's way of reminding you that you're never alone, never forgotten, never without purpose. Every time you hear it, it's Him saying, "I've got you." No matter what you're facing, loss, uncertainty, rejection, that voice is your lifeline. Hold on to it. Let it guide you. Let it remind you who you are. If this message is resonating, if that voice is burning brighter in you right now, hit that like button and subscribe to join thousands of chosen one souls who are answering God's call. And don't forget to comment 777. Below, it's a declaration that you're ready to trust that voice and step into your divine purpose. That voice is also your courage. It's what pushes you to keep going when everything says stop. It's what gives you the strength to stand up when the world tries to knock you down. Think of Nehemiah, who heard God's voice to rebuild Jerusalem's walls despite opposition. That voice carried him through threats, exhaustion, and doubt. It will carry you too, chosen one, through every trial, every storm. Sometimes that voice feels like a whisper in the dark, a gentle reminder that you're not alone. Other times, it's a roar, demanding you rise up and claim your destiny. Either way, it's always there, guiding you, shaping you, leading you to the life God promised. Jeremiah 29:11 says, "For I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." That's the voice, chosen one, speaking your future into existence. That voice is your truth. The world will try to define you by your past, your failures, your fears. But that voice tells you who you really are. Chosen, loved, destined. When you listen to it, you step out of the shadows and into the light. You become a beacon, a testimony, a living proof of God's power. People will see it, they'll feel it, and they'll want to know the source of your strength. Let's talk about what happens when you fully surrender to that voice. Your life becomes a masterpiece. Not perfect, but purposeful. Every step, every choice, every moment aligns with God's plan. You start to see His hand in everything, the small victories, the unexpected blessings, the quiet moments of clarity. That's the voice at work, painting a life more beautiful than you could have imagined. That voice is also your healing. It speaks to the broken places in your heart, the wounds you've carried for years. It says, "You are enough." It says, "You are forgiven." It says, "You are mine." When you listen, those wounds start to mend. You find peace where there was pain, strength where there was weakness. Isaiah 61:1 says, "He has sent me to bind up the brokenhearted." That's the voice, chosen one, healing you from the inside out. Sometimes that voice will call you to wait. And waiting is hard. You want answers now, solutions now, breakthroughs now. But that voice knows the timing of your life. It knows when you're ready, when the moment is right. Think of Joseph, who heard God's voice in a dream but waited years in prison before it came to pass. That voice sustained him, and it will sustain you too. Trust its timing. It's never late. That voice is your anchor in the storm. When everything feels like it's falling apart, when the job is gone, when the relationship crumbles, when the future looks dim, that voice holds you steady. It reminds you that God is bigger than your circumstances. It reminds you that you're built for this, chosen for this, destined for this. Psalm 23:4 says, "Even though I walk through the darkest valley, I will fear no evil, for you are with me." That's the voice, chosen one, walking with you through every valley. Let's talk about the power of that voice in your relationships. When you listen to it, you start to see people differently. You love with God's heart, forgive with His grace, connect with His purpose. That voice will guide you to the right people, those who lift you up, who see your light, who walk with you toward destiny. And it will show you who to let go, who no longer aligns with the path God has for you. That voice is also your creativity. It's the spark that inspires you to dream bigger, to create boldly, to live fully. When you listen to it, you tap into a well of ideas, solutions, and visions that the world can't contain. Think of Bezalel, who heard God's voice and was filled with skill to build the tabernacle. Your voice is unlocking gifts you didn't know you had, chosen one. Trust it. Use it. Let it flow. Sometimes that voice feels like a weight because it carries the responsibility of your calling. You're not just living for yourself, you're living for the people God wants you to touch, the lives He wants you to change. But that weight is also your honor. It's God saying, I chose you for this. You're not carrying it alone. That voice is His strength in you, His power through you, His love for you. If that voice is burning in you right now, if you're ready to step into the fullness of God's plan, leave a comment with 777 below. It's a sign that you're claiming your purpose, trusting His voice, walking in His truth. And if you want to keep hearing this message, hit that like button and subscribe to join thousands of chosen one souls who are saying yes to God's call. That voice is your clarity. In a world full of noise, endless opinions, breaking news, social media chaos, that voice cuts through. It tells you what matters. It shows you the next step. It keeps you focused when everything else tries to pull you away. Proverbs 3-6 says, in all your ways submit to Him, and He will make your paths straight. That's the voice, chosen one, straightening your path, lighting your way. Sometimes that voice will call you to stand alone, not because you're rejected, but because you're chosen. God sets you apart to prepare you, to refine you, to make you ready for what's coming. Think of Elijah, who heard God's voice in the wilderness, not in the wind or the fire, but in a still, small whisper. That whisper changed everything. Your voice is doing the same, leading you to a purpose only you can fulfill. That voice is also your rest. The world says, hustle, grind, never stop. But that voice says, be still. It says, I've got this. When you listen, you find a peace that doesn't depend on circumstances. You find a rest that restores your soul. Matthew 11:28 says, come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. That's the voice, chosen one, calling you to rest in God's promises. Let's talk about what happens when that voice becomes your guide. Your decisions change. You stop chasing what's temporary and start building what's eternal. You stop worrying about what people think and start living for what God knows. That voice realigns your priorities, reshapes your vision, redefines your life. It's not about perfection, it's about purpose. That voice is your strength in weakness. When you feel like you can't go on, when the weight feels too heavy, that voice whispers, my grace is sufficient for you. 2 Corinthians 12:9 says, my power is made perfect in weakness. That's the voice, chosen one, turning your weakness into a testimony, your struggles into a story of victory. Sometimes that voice will push you to dream bigger than you're comfortable with. It might call you to start that business, write that book, speak that truth. It might feel scary, impossible even. But that voice knows what you're capable of because it comes from the one who created you. Trust it. Step out. The God who spoke the world into existence is speaking to you now, and He doesn't make mistakes. That voice is also your hope. In a world that feels heavy, where bad news piles up and despair creeps in, that voice is a lifeline. It reminds you that God is still writing your story. It reminds you that every ending is a new beginning. Romans 15:13 says, may the God of hope fill you with all joy and peace as you trust in Him. That's the voice, chosen one, filling you with hope that never fades. Let's talk about the battles that voice prepares you for. As a chosen one, you're not exempt from trials, you're equipped for them. That voice is your training ground, teaching you to stand firm when the enemy comes. Ephesians 6:13 says, put on the full armor of God, so that when the day of evil comes, you may be able to stand your ground. That voice is your armor, chosen one, making you untouchable in the face of darkness. That voice is also your joy in the journey. It's not just about reaching the destination, it's about finding purpose in every step. When you listen to that voice, even the hard days feel meaningful. Even the setbacks feel like setups for something greater. That's the voice turning your pain into purpose, your trials into triumphs. Sometimes that voice will call you to forgive, not because it's easy, but because it's freedom. Holding on to anger ties you to the past, but that voice sets you free. It reminds you that forgiveness isn't about them. It's about you stepping into the fullness of God's plan. Colossians 3:13 says, "Forgive as the Lord forgave you." That's the voice, chosen one, leading you to a life unchained. That voice is your connection to the eternal. It's God reminding you that this world is not your home. You're here for a purpose, but your story doesn't end here. That voice is preparing you for a glory that outshines anything this world can offer. Hebrews 13:14 says, "For here we do not have an enduring city, but we are looking for the city that is to come." That's the voice, chosen one, pointing you to eternity. If that voice is stirring in you, if you're ready to walk in the fullness of God's purpose, leave a comment with 777 below. It's a declaration that you're all in, trusting His voice, claiming His promises. And if you want to keep this fire burning, hit that like button and subscribe to join thousands of chosen one souls who are listening to God's call. That voice is your transformation. When you listen to it, you become the person God always meant you to be. Not perfect, but purposeful. Not flawless, but faithful. Every time you follow that voice, you shed a layer of doubt, a piece of fear, a shadow of the past. You step into a version of yourself that's stronger, brighter, more aligned with His plan. Sometimes that voice will call you to be still, not because God wants you to do nothing, but because He wants you to trust. In the stillness, you hear Him clearest. In the quiet, you find His strength. Psalm 46:10 says, "Be still and know that I am God." That stillness is where the voice becomes a roar, where your purpose becomes clear, where your destiny takes shape. That voice is also your courage to love. Not the shallow love the world offers, but the deep, sacrificial love that changes lives. That voice will push you to love the unlovable, to reach out to the broken, to show grace where it's not deserved. 1 John 4:19 says, "We love because He first loved us." That's the voice, chosen one, teaching you to love with God's heart. Let's talk about what happens when that voice becomes your foundation. Your life stops being about surviving, it becomes about thriving. You stop chasing temporary fixes and start building eternal impact. That voice roots you in truth, anchors you in faith, lifts you to purpose. It's the difference between a life of chaos and a life of clarity. That voice is your guide through fear. Fear will come. It's part of being human. But that voice is louder. It's stronger. It's God saying, "Do not fear, for I am with you." Isaiah 41:10 says, "Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you." That's the voice, chosen one, carrying you through every fear, every doubt, every storm. Sometimes that voice will call you to let go, to release the plans you've clung to, the dreams you've built, the people you've held on to. Not because God wants to take from you, but because He wants to give you more. That voice knows what's best. Even when you can't see it, trust it. Let go. What's coming is greater than what you're leaving behind.